What if I told you that 90% of creators are sabotaging their own success before viewers even hit the 10-second mark? The difference between a video that dies in obscurity and one that explodes across the internet often comes down to just three critical elements that most people completely mess up. Today, we're diving deep into the art of writing scripts that create an almost hypnotic viewing experience. I've analyzed thousands of viral videos and discovered that the creators who consistently hook audiences understand something fundamental about human psychology that others miss entirely. These aren't just random tips or generic advice you've heard before. This is about understanding the mental triggers that make viewers physically unable to click away from your content. But here's what most people don't realize. Even if you master every storytelling technique in the book, there's still one massive bottleneck that kills most creators before they even get started. The actual process of writing these psychological masterpieces takes forever. I'm talking hours of staring at blank screens, countless rewrites, and endless second-guessing every single word choice. That's exactly why tools like TubeMargic AI are revolutionizing how smart creators approach script writing. Instead of spending your entire day crafting the perfect hook or agonizing over story structure, you can leverage artificial intelligence to handle the heavy lifting while you focus on what really matters, creating amazing content. Think about it this way. Every second a viewer spends deciding whether to keep watching is a second you're losing them to the infinite scroll of distractions. Your opening lines need to grab them by the throat and refuse to let go. This isn't about being aggressive or obnoxious. It's about understanding that modern attention spans are fragmented and you need surgical precision to cut through the noise. The first psychological principle that separates amateur scripts from professional ones is what I call contextual magnetism. Within your first 15 words, you need to accomplish two seemingly impossible tasks simultaneously. You must clearly communicate what your video is about while creating an irresistible curiosity gap that makes clicking away feel physically uncomfortable. Most creators fail here because they either provide too much context and bore people immediately, or they create mystery without any clear value proposition. The magic happens in that sweet spot where clarity meets intrigue. You're essentially saying, here's exactly what this is about, and here's why you absolutely cannot afford to miss what comes next. But contextual magnetism is just the foundation. The second principle is emotional escalation. Every single sentence in your opening should increase the emotional stakes from the previous one. You're not just sharing information, you're taking viewers on a carefully orchestrated emotional journey that builds momentum with each passing second. The psychological trigger here is simple but powerful. When emotions are escalating, our brains interpret this as important information worth paying attention to. It's the same reason why horror movies start quiet and gradually build tension, or why great songs have dynamics that pull you through different emotional states. Now here's where most people completely derail their own success. They front-load all their best content in the hook and then have nowhere to go. This creates what I call the satisfaction trap. You give viewers just enough to scratch their curiosity itch, and suddenly they feel complete enough to leave. Instead, you want to create what feels like an appetizer that makes them hungry for the main course. The third principle is strategic incompleteness. Every great script leaves specific questions unanswered at strategic intervals. You're essentially creating a series of cliffhangers that compound on each other. Each resolved question should immediately spawn two new ones, creating an expanding web of curiosity that becomes impossible to abandon. This is where the real artistry comes in. You're not just answering questions, you're orchestrating them like a symphony conductor. Some questions get resolved quickly to build trust and momentum. Others simmer in the background, creating sustained tension. And your biggest questions don't get answered until viewers are completely invested in the outcome. But here's the brutal truth about modern content creation. Understanding these principles and actually implementing them consistently are two completely different challenges. Even when you know exactly what to do, translating that knowledge into compelling scripts day after day requires a level of mental energy that most creators simply cannot sustain long term. This is precisely where AI script writing tools become absolute game changers. Instead of burning out your creative energy on the mechanical aspects of script construction, you can focus that energy on the uniquely human elements that no algorithm can replicate. Your personal stories, your specific insights, your authentic voice and perspective. TubeMargic AI essentially becomes your creative partner, handling the structural heavy lifting while ensuring your unique personality shines through every line. It understands these psychological principles we've been discussing and can apply them consistently, even when you're having an off day or facing creative blocks. The real power comes from the speed advantage. What used to take hours of careful crafting can now happen in minutes. This doesn't make the content generic or robotic. Instead, it frees you up to iterate rapidly, test different approaches, and find your unique voice much faster than traditional methods allow. Think about the competitive advantage this creates. While other creators are still wrestling with blank pages, you're already testing your third variation of a hook. While they're second-guessing their story structure, you're analyzing performance data and optimizing for your next video. The transformation in your content creation workflow is almost immediate. Instead of dreading the writing process, you start looking forward to it. Instead of publishing inconsistently because writing feels overwhelming, you develop sustainable systems that support regular, high-quality output. But the real magic happens when you combine AI assistance with genuine expertise in human psychology. The tool handles the technical execution while you focus on the strategic decisions that separate good content from legendary content. You're not replacing creativity, you're amplifying it exponentially. If you're serious about taking your content to the next level and want to experience this transformation firsthand, I highly recommend checking out TubeMargic AI. Click the link in the description below to try it out for yourself. And make sure to watch the complete step-by-step tutorial video that walks you through exactly how to use every feature to maximize your results. Trust me, once you experience what it feels like to write scripts this efficiently, you'll never want to go back to the old way of doing things.